What up, what up, what up, world? It's your boy Shelvin.
Lady K.
And your boy True 102.
Lady Rise.
Say we back at it again. We back at it again. Say last week was very, very profound, man. We talked about what a lot of us seem to get a little bit confused, but we talked about it anyway. We talked about attraction. That was a good conversation, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We talked about the many levels of attraction, the many kinds of attraction, man. A lot of people didn't even know it was that many kinds of attraction. That is crazy, right? I mean, we went through 5 different kinds of attraction. It's crazy, like it is. I mean,
Oh, man.
hey, attraction has a sense of maturity. Attraction grows as we grow.
Yeah.
And so we start to be attracted to different things, different characteristics in individuals instead for physiological attractions. You know, we
Yeah.
start out a little physical, especially, I'm just speaking from me, you know, as a boy, you know. Had a lot of physical attraction starting out, right? But as I grew older, I realized that, you know, does your mind match your face? You know,
Yeah.
and so how y'all think that conversation went, man? So she on her mood right now.
That's your mom, match. What?
Hey, man, that's that George Bush, man. That good stuff, man. That good kush, man.
I was trying to figure out how did that make sense, but okay. I don't.
Lady Right, we got to come back to Lady K over here because she tripping out. Say, how you feel that conversation with last week?
I think it was a good conversation. Like you
Yeah.
said, you know, learning that we change.
Right.
You know, as we grow and mature, what we're attracted to is different.
Yeah.
And when we were in our 20s, what we want in the 50s is totally different.
Yeah, it is. What you got, my boy True?
Same, you know. Yeah, I learned a lot. And yeah, attractions do change.
My girl a goofball today. Oh, what's going?
Oh my God! It's just
Man, I'm glad you cheered.
I have so
cheerful
much
today.
going on in my head,
Oh,
and I'm listening, and it's
What
just
up,
colliding
Duane?
with what I'm thinking.
okay. What's your?
tripping.
we
I'm tripping.
we gonna get it together. We gonna get it together.
I've been doing it all day. It's
All
just
day?
that my mind is just. I have a million things going on in my head, and I'm trying to keep up
Right.
with everything, and it's colliding.
Well,
What's going on in my head, but I'm
it's
getting it
all
together.
good because it got you smiling. Hopefully, it's all
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, it's
That's
all
what's up.
good. That's why I needed that extra break
Right,
to
right,
get my
right.
mind right.
So, how you think the conversation went last week?
It was a good conversation. I think for me, it carried me on through this week. I was just thinking more and more, just thinking about my previous relationships, situationships, and kind of comparing how I feel then against now. Different things, different attributes.
Right.
Certain characteristics never change. Like, there are certain things that never change for me, and I realized that as well.
Right.
So, yeah, that was definitely a conversation that was needed to be had.
And it's good you say that because a lot of people, y'all really don't understand. I get a little discouraged sometimes, need a little encouragement. A lot of people this week said that this show has really helped them change their perspective on relationships.
Really?
Really?
That's dope.
Like a lot of people. It just be blowing my mind because I be like, man, I don't know if this show helping nobody. I know we want to be a
That's
positive
dope.
platform for the community. We definitely want to be a voice to the voiceless. But, you know, sometimes you just don't feel like you're doing enough. And so for
Hey,
me to...
Alicia.
So for me to hear those little, hey Alicia, so for me to hear those little, you know, just people's perspective on it, man, it's really good. You know, it really helps me to, you know, continue to want to come up here, huh, True?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
It's good stuff, man.
We do have a lot of good topics, good humor.
Yeah.
Have a good team. I like that.
And I think that's why a lot of people get discouraged when it comes to doing good. You know, because they don't feel like it's working. They don't feel like it's, you know, changing anything. And everybody want to be a change agent for something good. I mean, you might be the worst person in the world, but you just want to do something good, you know, and that's what I feel. You know, I want to do something good, man, and I think that's a great thing to do, something good to keep it. It's a lot of bad out there. It's a lot of stuff. And so for us to have these conversations, man, and just, I love y'all perspectives. Let me just say that. I love y'all perspective. We talked about the attraction of physicality. We talked about intellectual attraction. We talked about mental attraction, financial attraction. Yeah, some people attract to their money. We talked about a lot of different attractions, man, and it really helped, a lot of people to see different sides of it. And so I think that was a great thing. And so without further ado, man, we're going to talk about today. We're going to jump into today's topic. Today's topic, we're going to be talking about something that really I don't necessarily get. Right, because that's one thing that I just don't do. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe because past situations, I ain't think people could or whatever. Maybe because, who I am as an individual. So what we're going to talk about today is venting or therapy. Venting versus therapy. Yeah. So the reason we're talking about this today is because we feel, and Lady Roz, I know this is something that's near and dear to your heart about therapy. Can you express to how you feel about therapy?
For me, I feel like in our community, in the Black community, therapy is something that's needed, but it's also a taboo, so to speak. Mm-hmm. But this is what happens. This is why we have broken people, because we do not, confront, the issues that we have, whether they were from childhood or whatever they were from. So therapy is to
I am failing right now.
actually to help us to heal.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And so that's why it's important to me.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. But I'm
Your laughing is contagious. Say, you gotta be tripping.
I agree with what she's saying because, well, first I wanted to say venting and therapy, I feel like they're both necessary. It's just how you use them. So they're good tools. Like you may vent to your best friend, vent to certain people for certain things, sometimes not even the same thing.
Right.
But that's only, I think, venting is safe when it's somebody you can trust and someone who is unbiased.
Right.
But sometimes you need to be venting to somebody who can tell you that you wrong, or you need to have a different perspective on certain things.
Right.
When you get in therapy, it's more of a behavioral adjustment, kind of somebody helping you realize what are your bad and good traits, what type of behavior patterns you have that might encourage certain behaviors that you receive from other people, including yourself. It kind of helps you unwrap things that you probably would normally look over because you don't have someone looking at you with a professional eye saying,
right,
okay, that right there, that thing that we all think is normal, yeah, that's not normal.
Right.
So it's good to give you some direction. It's definitely helped me.
And sometimes you need direction on being passive. I think that's being passive is what I heard you explaining. Yeah. Sometimes we're a little too passive. Sometimes we gotta check some stuff, or it becomes a problem. Exactly. And especially in relationships.
Absolutely. In relationships.
So,
I mean, and that's all type of relationships.
Every kind.
Friendships.
Yeah.
Even when you talk about relationships with your siblings, family members, because if you don't have boundaries,
right,
then sometimes, those things create problems. Well, sometimes we don't understand that. So some things we can learn like she said, in therapy.
Right.
Because they're looking at things with a professional eye. Okay, so you're having a problem so why were y'all even in that place? So
right. They get to bringing up questions that you never asked yourself.
Exactly.
It's so true. What you think, man?
I'm listening, bro.
You listening?
You keep taking those deep breaths. I'm like, you got something to say.
Hey, man, look, we out here. If you just want to listen, we just go talk. You know what I'm saying? So what's good about therapy is there are things that we miss, and there are things that you're gonna miss. And it's not. Sometimes we miss them on purpose. Sometimes we choose to miss them.
Not to see something.
Right.
Yeah.
We turn the blind eye.
Confront it.
Right. And that's really not. But a lot of times we do it because we don't know how to confront it. We don't know how to come to it because all our life we've been told we argumentative. We've been told you too confrontational.
Are you too young to understand?
Right, and all that stuff. And maybe you are young, but if something's not right with you, you know, it's only right to ask questions, and maybe you may not understand, but how you go get an understanding if you don't have that conversation? And so therapy is so important. But the thing about therapy is a lot of us will get into high emotional situations. We'll get into arguments with our spouse. We'll get into, you know, conflict with our friends. And the first thing that we'll do is we'll hit social media.
Yeah, I've done that.
Say, it was
and
crazy.
it wasn't always my first choice for me. It was just
an outlet.
well, no. If I could think about where that habit came from, it was a weapon, because if that's the platform that you're choosing to try and embarrass me, I'm most definitely going to trump you.
Oh.
Like, if you
I want my lick
do
back.
something to me,
Right.
I'm getting you back. I'm real
Give my lick
patient.
back.
Just wait on it.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but that's a headache in itself, because, like you
Man.
said, if you particularly venting on social media, you are opening yourself up for a lot of opinions,
Right, right.
and sometimes it does definitely keep. However you feel, you may not feel that way the next day,
Right.
or you might get over it a month or so ago.
Right.
Somebody that liking it, bringing it back up, or questioning your stance on something, or not, you're not posting the full story. You can
Right.
never write enough
Right.
to get every perspective, so people can
Right.
see your part. So people are going to take bits and pieces of their understanding of certain things, and they're going to say certain things.
Because, you know, there's your story, there's their story,
Yeah.
and then there's the truth.
Their perspective, and other people are reading this too, so they're going to put a little bit of things that they've experienced.
Right.
Now your story is not just yours; it's mine's plus theirs, and got all these different opinions that you're not ready for.
I see some people
Unless
in
you just
agreement
don't
with
care.
you on this.
Like me, and just don't be caring, but you, because I'm a very candid person, so I'm not easily embarrassed about certain things. It's still not an avenue that I would select again.
Right.
I will never do that again. Only if I think I will talk about things that I've experienced, because that's beneficial to other people.
Right,
I know I'm
right.
not the only person who's gone through certain things. But as far as venting out of anger,
Yeah. Yeah, that's
or
what we
some
do.
type of upset,
That's what we do.
sadness, that's not a place for that.
Yeah.
You need a secret place.
There are a lot of people who I've seen who actually go live.
Uh-huh.
Oh, get on
And-
there crying. I ain't
Well,
did that.
not even crying, but okay, I'm putting my boyfriend out
Right.
right now.
Oh,
Right.
that.
I mean, like, okay, so you want everybody to know and here, this is just my personal opinion.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so let's give this disclaimer. Hey,
Right.
up front. Now, and that's fine, because that is your business.
Right.
But that's also your business when you post it next week and you don't let Boo back in.
Right.
That's
So
what I'm saying, yeah.
so be ready.
Now you over there looking like a clown.
Right. So be ready.
A clown.
You know, to have your clown suit
Yeah,
on.
a whole
'cause-
clown. I'm talking about I was jigging in there.
Hey, man. And that's so
Because
crazy, right?
you set yourself up when you decided to go live and say, okay, well, you know what? Hey, he get out. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
right,
You
right.
know, with this, you think I'm stupid. Woo, woo, woo. Okay, Lamar.
Animation,
You know,
yes.
So
Yeah.
next week when you me and Boo, y'all taking selfies and
Right,
y'all,
right.
you know,
Looking
you
like
in love.
She looks crazy the bug. But you know, they even got it where people get into it and they post their new boo online.
Okay,
You
yeah.
know, you done posted 3 new boos in the last week. Sure, that says a lot about you. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And so, you know, it's just crazy to me because, I mean, at some point we got to realize when we need therapy.
Yeah.
Right? And we'll talk about that a little later, but I want to stay on why do we feel like social media is the avenue? I mean, for one, don't nobody really, I don't want to say this like this, be
Don't
blunt.
nobody care.
Don't nobody care about what you're going through. You know, I'm just going to,
I
not
think
to the
it's
point.
I think it's a temporary feeling of somebody gets it. Like when you put something out there, you feel however you feel. If you're feeling happy, you feeling grateful, then a whole bunch of people like that status for that same type of feeling, that same type of high.
Oh,
Then after a couple of days go by, that energy you put out there, it kind of slows down.
Right.
Now you constantly checking the posts. Does anybody agree with me? It's just constant
Right,
validation
right,
over and over
right.
again. So it's like being a kid and you feel like with certain things you didn't get validated enough. And a lot of kids, if you was born in the 90s, if you were born in the 80s, you did not get the level of attention that you needed. You didn't.
most of
I'm going
us.
to tell you that flat out. You did not get it.
Right.
And so here we are on social media, 80s and 90s. And this is where we've been. This is where we get our validation from. It's like,
and that is where
Like,
they get
that's
their
where it's coming
validation
from.
because they look at the celebrities or people who are on there. Okay, like I say, they're looking at Cardi B or they looking whomever those people are.
Right.
I don't know because I don't look at it for that. So they feel like if they're doing this and they're getting this attention, okay, I'll give you an example. Lizzo. Isn't that her name? The plus size lady
Yeah.
that wears any and everything.
Right.
yeah.
Now, as a plus size person, in my personal opinion, again, my personal opinion.
Let me clarify that.
Let's clarify.
Right.
Just because they make it in your size don't mean that you're supposed to put it on. I mean, but here's the thing. Society has people where they'll do any and everything for attention and
Right.
for,
Like
and
the
for
girl
money.
that put
Right.
glue in her
And
hair.
for money, so to speak. So, but if that's how I had to make money, because I'm gonna look like a fool because I'm wearing the same thing that Kyra can wear, absolutely not. But again, personal opinion.
Right. Right.
You know,
right.
okay, so maybe they're saying, okay, well, that's why she got a bunch of money. Okay, well, I'm gonna get mine too, but not that way.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not gonna look like a fool getting it.
Right. And I mean, everybody have their opinion about that. Some people agree with Lizzo.
Oh, absolutely.
I believe that you should be comfortable in your own skin.
Absolutely.
And I mean, however a person is comfortable in their skin, if it's showing a little bit of it, that's what they do. I mean, that's their thing. But at the same time, you have people that actually have like mental problems that actually go on Facebook and be like, well, this is my last time talking to y'all. Y'all probably won't hear from me no more. And so if y'all don't hear from me, just know I love y'all and stuff like that. And that's more of a, okay, now it's time.
Can you help me?
Yeah,
I need
yeah.
help.
But there's some people, some of those people also
Or attention seeking.
or seeking attention. So therefore, they have some issues, but not to the point of they really getting ready to take their lives. But they want to seek some attention because yes, they need some help in
Right.
some areas. So yes, they need some therapy. So either they are not willing, don't know the avenues to take to get to get the help or whatever. So okay, social media's here. So okay, I'm gonna vent, so to speak. Because they don't know what else to do, so to speak.
Yeah.
So here we are on Facebook or IG saying, hey, y'all might not hear from me anymore, or I'm gonna do this to myself, or I'm gonna do this to myself.
Right.
And now we have a bigger problem.
Right.
Yeah, it can definitely be a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
There are people that actually need help, and then that's their way of getting it. And then there's other people that you want to feel like somebody care.
Right.
So again, that validation that somebody is valuing your life, or whatever it is, valuing or giving some type of validation to something that you're going through,
Right.
that may be getting ignored in your personal life, and you just kind of.
And I can understand that too. And I think it should be made more available because truthfully, therapy is expensive. Therapy is very expensive. And I mean, a lot of people don't have the, resources to afford such a thing. And so that's why a lot of people, will jump on Facebook and will jump on Instagram. Now, in the situation with Trump.
Oh Lord.
Now we
I know y'all didn't see that coming, but here I come. Here I come, the instigator.
We didn't see it coming because hey, we trying to stay sane. Here you go.
Here I come. The instigator. I gotta do it. I gotta do it. I gotta chuck.
Come on with it.
So
Come
we
on.
gotta chuck the characters like Trump in there.
Okay.
What do we feel like they're doing it for?
Attention.
Publicity. I mean, they're.
I don't think it's just for attention. I think it's to stir up confusion.
Well, that's the same thing.
That's attention.
Some people want a chunk of rock and hide their hand. I don't think Trump got all the attention he needs.
Instigating something.
I think he's an instigator, like what I'm doing on this show. Because I instigate the show every week. I've been always called an instigator. So I'm working in my. This is one of the things I do. I have an instigating characteristic about myself.
But you're not trying to cause confusion, whereas he's trying to cause confusion, disruption.
Now I'm trying to cause agitation. That's what I do. I agitate the situation because that's what you do in your washing machine. That's what you do with your dishes. You agitate because if the soap isn't agitated, it won't clean nothing. And so that's what my intention is, to agitate. Now, so what I'm thinking about is, and this is what I was thinking about when the whole conversation started out. There is a difference between venting and there's a difference between therapy.
Absolutely.
Now, they are one and the same. But the question is, who are you venting to, and have you had therapy for it? See, a lot of people can answer the first one, but the second one would be, no, I ain't really went to therapy for it. And why? Why is therapy it's looked at so negatively? Like, if you going to therapy, you got to be crazy. But you ain't crazy because you're not going to therapy.
It was considered, it's a westernized idea.
Oh.
First of all, village people didn't go
deep.
to therapists.
They went to Big Mama
You went
house.
to the shaman. No. Village, when you go to your shaman, you go to
the
some
elders.
type of herbalist, some type of spiritual person. That's who you would go to. Then you go from there. You come in here, all these other places we went. And now it's like, first, initially, a form of counseling. Should I go back this far? I'll go just a little bit, and hopefully we can bring it back.
Just take them there.
But back then,
Take it, cuz.
when we were becoming colonized, I guess all these other countries
Hit them.
by Westerners,
Get them.
they had different ways of doing things, and a form of counseling at that time,
Right.
as far as changing the way that you spoke, certain behaviors that you may have had from your culture, just certain customs that you may do. They had counseling, therapeutic sessions,
Right.
that they persuaded you not to practice certain things, not to do certain things.
Right.
So, and then when you needed to be broken or you needed something else to believe in, then they came in with other things, other ideas that got introduced to you, in a lot of different ways, whether it be religion
Right.
or different manners of practicing or demonizing whatever your practice or cultural belief or whatever your system was, because it had to be broken down in some way.
Right.
And so there was a distrust that came from all of that up until
Right.
now. It's a distrust. It's still a distrust with doctors, medical doctors. There's a huge distrust there. So it's like, why would you go to them and talk to them about our problems? So now
Right.
there's keep our problems in our house. That's where that came from. Don't go telling them about our problems, because that resulted in other things.
Right.
Mental illnesses that you really didn't have.
CPS and
Couldn't put in places. Yeah. What is that? Institutionalized for things that really weren't problems.
psych wards.
So that became taboo. Like, no. Why would you want to
I'm
do
good.
that? That's where that, when they say that white folks stuff, that's where that comes from. That's rooted just from a lot of things that has occurred.
Right.
So you have to build a trust. I didn't have a trust when I first went to therapy.
Right.
I was nervous. I was scared. I almost threw up. Like, they gonna keep me? They gonna what? What's gonna happen?
Man.
I didn't know what type of
What to expect.
what to talk about, what not to talk about. I automatically just wanted to guard myself in
Right.
every way. So when my first session, it was just her writing and me answering sometimes,
Right.
and just being like, I don't know what to tell you.
Because you.
And what if I tell you something, you think I'm crazy, now you trying to keep me?
Right.
I went through all of that motion, and that's why. Same thing when I go to the doctor. They ask me, are you in pain about something? And I am conditioned to minimize how I feel about whatever.
Right.
And sometimes that causes you to just get mistreated. You don't get the right medicine, the right this, the right attention.
Right.
So I feel like that's where that comes from.
And so that's where that came from. But here we are today, right? And so a lot of stuff has changed because now we got people that not only look like us but think like us in the other seat. So do we still look at therapy the same today as we did yesterday? Most of us do.
Yeah, we still do. We may not think of it in extent that I put it, but that's where it comes from.
Well, I'm glad you did what you
Yeah.
did because that was important.
We definitely do that. We do it.
So when you get to a level of you can't answer the question and you don't know who to talk to, I think that's a good place to think about therapy. For one, when you become a danger to yourself, and a lot of people feel like a danger to themselves is, I want to commit suicide.
No.
That's not just a danger to yourself. When you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing as far as your responsibilities as a person to keep yourself financially stable, that's a danger to yourself. When you're not considerate of others who are in your household and you're out there, busting heads and coming home hiding pistols and stuff in the house that you lay at, that's a danger to yourself and others.
Or you're hyper aggressive,
Right.
hypersensitive. You become really sensitive
Lashing
about
out.
certain things.
Yeah, when you start lashing out at people,
and you don't know why, you can't sleep. You just snapping all the time. Yeah, you need
you need some help.
a little help
You
there.
need a little help. When every little thing start to, trip you down and make you blow up, you gonna knock somebody out when you should have just told them, hey man, you excused. You know what I'm saying? Because now you at a blow up state. And it's bad because a lot of us bottle up stuff that we were walking around ready to bust. And you get anxiety, you get depression, you get discouraged, you get the feelings of defeat, you get all these emotions, and you're wondering why in the world you could be having a good day, and for some reason you just not feeling it. You're just not even feeling it, and you're not even sure why, because you have some issues that are going on with you that you haven't really dealt with. Right? You have some things going on in your mind and your heart that you haven't really dealt with. And the truth is, you said, you know what? I'm going to put these up and deal with them later.
Yeah,
or
it's too much.
Right. It's overwhelming.
Too much to deal with. Or you may feel overwhelmed to the sense that if I start dealing with this now, because you don't know how long it takes, it takes everybody a different amount of time to get over certain things.
Right.
So sometimes you just don't even want to start because you don't know when it's going to end.
Right.
Your mind is getting stuck already.
So
Your mind is getting stuck already.
So you got to be careful with people that get cheated on and be all right the next day. You got to be careful with them type of folks. I'm telling you, because it's not over. It's not over. They smiling and cooking you dinner and stuff. It's not over. You got to be careful with men who come home and act like we didn't just have this deep-rooted conversation that is tied to who I am in this household. I'm not even going to acknowledge it. These are things that people do all the time. All the time. I see it all the time, especially in relationships, spousal relationships, where people are actually in, marital relationships, stuff like that. Even, real tight relationships, not marital relationships, but, that's my man, I'm his woman. They go through these situations, and because we don't necessarily know how to deal with them, we would rather not and say we did.
You know what? Me and my sister had a conversation, and today, this morning, and I was thinking, it was probably this afternoon. It was this afternoon.
Okay.
Anyway, I was talking to her, and I said, you know what, we were just talking about our parents and different things, that how we identify or understood things as kids, like certain events that have happened according to our thoughts now, and what was really happening as adults, what you can really see.
Right.
This is what you're taking in as kids. And I told her, I concluded with, our parents really effed us up. They wouldn't try to, but they just effed us up. I was like, dang, girl, they wasn't trying to. Like, they really did the best they could do. And
Right.
I can honestly say that. But there were definitely some teachable moments that nobody taught them.
Right.
That we as kids saw, we witnessed, and we took in that behavior. We may not have known what we were seeing, but we were acting it out, in different ways. And as an adult, I know what I was acting out now.
Right.
Now I'm like, I know why I felt like that. Or just, just a lot of different things. Like, they got us a little bit. But, so I think that as parents, when I had to go to counseling as a kid, your mom or your dad, they want to be in there with you. And that's because they want to know if somebody's trying to feed your mind with something that, a belief or whatever that they don't have.
Right.
If you're going to be saying too much. Because they scared too. They don't know what. Okay, what you know?
What happened
it's
in this
another one
house?
of those.
Stay in this house.
They don't know.
Crippled the black community.
And
Absolutely.
so I remember going to counseling as a kid, and I remember drawing pictures and them giving me colors.
Y'all would have played with me up
Sound
in here.
crazy.
Nah, it's real though.
And they were giving me. It was a counselor. She was giving me. I just remember her asking me to draw and asked me why I use certain colors. I don't remember much else about it and playing outside. But I remember going to counseling, and I remember being talked to before going to counseling.
Right.
You know, not saying too much of this, too much of that. And that's just because, you know, you want to maintain your privacy, too. There's a lot of reasons why your parents said and did certain things.
Right.
Like what stays in the house stays in, because you can't control how people are going to interpret it outside
Right.
of the house.
Right.
And so it's like I said, it's a big distrust with just wellness as
Right.
a whole within the community. As a whole, just wellness. I was
Well,
going
you know,
to the doctor.
we see people go to therapy and stuff like that when we was coming up. And after you see somebody go to therapy, and you know, a day or two later, you see them folks pull up with them suits and stuff, and they taking the kids coming out that mud crying and stuff. You like, oh no, nah, that wasn't a good idea. And it really changes your whole perspective on the situation. Like, nah, I'm good. What happened in the house? Stay in the house, y'all.
Yeah,
Shoot,
and so
we
like
ain't-
that
we-
just- that was
and I
damaging.
we
think
ain't trying to separate the
unfortunately-
family.
I
Like,
think
that
for
was
whatever
damaging.
reason, yeah. But I think
On
back
both
then,
ends.
for whatever reason, it was taken out of context, so to
Yeah.
speak. You know, like it was automatically just okay. They got some issues. Okay, we're gonna go to the ultimate.
Ultimate punish. I mean,
Yeah.
it was a punishment.
Yeah,
Really.
yeah, a punishment versus. You know, now,
Helping.
yeah,
Being
versus
able to
helping,
talk, figure
yeah,
out,
being able
understand.
to and understand. So you were not able to sit there and discuss. Okay, well, this is what I'm dealing with. This is what happened, and,
Right.
And them kind of guide you through
Right.
the steps of how you can heal from that,
Yeah.
Right.
and not feel like, let's say, if you were abused as a child, molested as a child. So okay, so the therapist is going to walk you through why you shouldn't feel like it was your fault,
Yeah.
Right.
and how you heal and what steps you take versus okay, let's remove Susie from the house.
Right.
That's not an automatic step.
And so you question, was they really trying to help the family? And so that's where we got what we got there now. I ain't doing no therapy because we start to question, are y'all really trying to help us, or are y'all trying to put us in these homes and separate the family?
Right.
Correct.
I would rather deal with
Something
the,
that they
the
were definitely.
Something that they were doing, but
Right.
but at what
Actively,
point now do we say, okay, this behavior is
Yeah.
not right.
Right.
This is not
PTSD.
normal. Yeah. So at what
Like,
point
yeah.
do we say, okay, I need some help?
right.
You know, so do I get online? Do I confide in my best friend? You know, do I go to my pastor if there's one? You know, how do I go? What steps do I take?
Well, I
to
think
say,
the
you know
first
what?
thing is admitting that you need it. I think that's the first step. Because a lot of us don't even admit that. Once you have, one
Once
thing we
you've
haven't
admitted
acknowledged.
that, then knowing to do that is because you can vent to mama, auntie, cousin, friend, and they can all go talk behind your back.
Right.
If you got the same trust issue,
Right.
or you talking to mama and you mama's baby, and so mama maybe she's a little more lenient, a little more light. With a word my mom wouldn't, but I'm just saying,
Yeah.
maybe she's more passive, and so now she's pacifying whatever happened instead of saying, you know, you have this thing that you do that you need to correct.
Right.
You know, sometimes,
Exactly.
or as a kid or as an adult, you just may be too shy about your issue. You don't want to go to your parents because there's a certain standard you might feel like you need to meet.
Right.
And maybe you feel you're falling short if you tell them, well, I'm having this issue.
Right.
Or whatever. But it's definitely like she was saying, like, I think you're talking about a point that you actually know that you now have a problem you need to talk about and you need to go to therapy. You
Yeah,
do.
because you know the way
Once
you've handled, even for as when we get older or move on in life, you say, "Oh, you've had bad relationships."
Right.
Okay, so at some point, as an adult, I would think, again, my opinion, you know, sit back and evaluate.
Right.
You know, okay, so what happened?
Uh-huh.
You know, it's not going to always be his fault.
Right.
So what part did you play and what
Accountability.
transpired, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
in that relationship going bad.
Right.
Because we have to be accountable
Right.
because if we're in a relationship and we're supposed to be in a committed relationship and you sleeping with Joe and Jack while you supposed to be with Jimmy or Joe, then at what point do you say, okay, well, this is not right? So I have an issue that I need to address. So at what point do I say, okay, well, that's not Joe's fault that I was sleeping with Jack and Kevin or whatever.
Right.
I
Right?
think sometimes people don't realize, like you may realize, I don't think people realize the things that they gather as coping mechanisms. Like everybody is coping and everybody's picking up an instrument to cope with whatever. And I think that you don't always
Absolutely.
understand what you're picking up is a coping mechanism and
Right.
not helping you.
Right.
And the way that you figure out what's a coping mechanism is just paying attention to what your tics are and what you gravitate to when you're in whatever that high feeling is.
That's good.
That you're having. If it's a high emotion of anger and despair, what are some things that you automatically start going to? What are habits that you automatically start doing that are enabling that part of you? And
I need a blunt.
And then do the opposite.
That first thing people say, I need a drink.
Uh-huh. You-
I'm going, y'all know me.
More productive, yeah.
Right.
Because I will, roll it up real quick, though. I'll be like, all
Hey,
right.
we
Well,
cope
give me
how
1
we
second.
go.
If it gets too much, way too much, I'm like, okay, I can really slap you, but
Right.
I'm gonna go smoke this blunt. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
And yeah,
That's
I
the
can
way
do
it
something
is.
different.
So,
and
King-
definitely the way of handling that is to just recognize that, okay, this whatever is agitating me,
Right.
and being able to talk and communicate that, or knowing when you need to do it. Sometimes you don't need to always defend yourself.
Right.
There are some things you need to just let ride.
Right.
But like she said,
And
it's something
sometimes we
that-
become passive with ourselves.
Yeah.
Instead of actually tracing those reactions to those problems and actually finding our tick or our trigger, we become passive with ourselves and just say, you know what, I'm just going to smoke the blunt or I'm just going to drink the, instead of being like, you know what, that made me mad just like that last time.
Yeah.
I wonder why I get angry so much. It's not even a big situation, but why do I get so angry about, and you don't trace the source?
Yeah.
Maybe it's because your mama used to tell you, you ain't
A
gonna
lot
never
of
be.
things that you do are from when you were kids. They're just
Right.
habits that you did as a kid.
And so you create those coping mechanisms, and maybe they got us this far, But
Yeah.
at some point we got to realize
And then you
what's
wanna
going to
drop it
get
off.
right, because
Yes.
I can't stay here forever because
Right.
I'm past whatever the situation was. I just need to get past the emotion of the situation.
Right.
And sometimes
Correct.
we stay in the emotion of the situation and stay there way too long. We make it our dwelling place instead of a hotel, and so we stay there way longer than we're supposed to. But we got to get past this stuff. And so Akeem says, man, I had to learn the hard way that I don't really fully understand why my past went the way it did. But it's a blessing I learned to forgive when it was almost impossible to accept the hard reality that some things I did to myself. I call it self-growth and self-reflection. Only
Yeah.
God could get me where I am, and I'm beyond grateful, right? And the way he put it is great and full.
Yeah, I'm gonna be Cap. Calvin's not here, so I'm gonna be Cap. So, but everybody don't have God.
Oh.
So then what?
That is Calvin all day, ain't it? Well, sometimes you got to go to where you find your peace at. And sometimes you got to realize that you can find peace outside of your normal coping mechanisms. You got to self-discover. You got to self-explore. What can I use as an outlet? What can I use as a coping mechanism instead of the drugs, instead of the alcohol, instead of the sex? Some of
And
us
let me
will hit
just say
sex.
So
that-
what's going to make the person say, "Let me self-discover"?
And here's what it's going to be. And this is going to be for most people. Self-destruct.
Self-destruct.
You have to self-destruct first. Like most people,
gotta
it's some
blow up.
people who can just learn from everybody else's mistakes.
Right.
But most people have to blow up. You just got to blow up.
You got to do yourself
And then
in.
you're like, hold on. That wasn't supposed to do that. Like, you have to blow up. Most people, you don't have to just do something wrong and fall and hit rock bottom. Be like, okay.
So like being a drug addict, so to
Yeah,
speak.
sometimes you just got to you're going to have to just hit it and hit it hard. And that's most people. We just,
And
one
everybody's
day we hit the
self-destruct
wall
level is different.
real hard.
Right.
When you
Yeah.
hit that rock bottom, you got two choices. Between two choices, you're gonna be like, okay, how did I get here? What can I do to fix myself? You're gonna be like, dang, it's your fault.
Right.
And once if you hit rock bottom and you still talk about dang, it's your fault, that's where you're gonna stay. I just
Right.
feel like you're gonna stay there until your next life or whatever you have. And just be sitting there like, here you go again. I don't know, you might come back like a roach or something.
Right, right, right,
Not
right.
a roach.
Oh, Lord have
Not a
mercy.
roach. Not a roach. No.
That's crazy.
What's nice so they can just get stepped on.
My God. That's the lowest. Like, oh my God. And I think that's when you get to the point after you self-destruct. I think that's where you're at. And a lot of people probably need to recognize when they're self-destructing. It's when the greater you, the best you becomes more important than who you are at that moment. When your best you, the you see yourself, when you look in the mirror and you say, I want to be a better me, it becomes more important than, man, I'm just this dope fiend, I'm just this alcoholic, I'm just this sex addict, whatever it is. When that becomes less important than who you want to be, then you realize, man, I'm destroying myself. I'm really hurting myself. It's not until you realize that, and that's what they call rock bottom. Like once you hit rock bottom, ain't nobody down there but you, yourself, and not me. Let me tell you. Nobody's there with you.
That's right.
And,
That's absolutely
Yeah.
true.
and it's a lot of times when
And
the money done ran out, because you know everybody good until the money gone. You know, you keep drugs coming, you keep whatever coming when the money there. But when that money run out and them hands run out too, because when the money leave, then you stick your hand out, hey, I need this, then everybody eventually stop giving you stuff. It happens the same way almost every time. You know what I'm saying? You start self-destructing. You use up all your resources, then you use up all of the handouts and all that stuff. Then you find yourself in a place where I can't get nothing, and you start saying stuff like, don't nobody love me, and all this stuff. And then you start realizing, dang, I'm the problem.
Yeah. And
You probably didn't even start the problems.
Self-destruct.
Right. It probably
Yeah.
wasn't something that you did to yourself. You probably just reacting off something that happened to you. And you got to realize that at some point you got to say, you know what? I'm better than this. This is not me. I'm just
But some people don't have a sense of self. That's
Correct.
why I said self-destruct. When you are self-destruction, you are literally starting from ground zero.
Right.
This is your opportunity to build you.
Again.
Yes, it's your opportunity. You got pieces that nobody else got.
Right.
You have places or things that are part of you that you stored away and tucked away because of trauma, and so you start covering things that were actually great attributes. You just didn't know how to protect it, so you shut it down. It's you just starting from ground up. You get a chance to, and it's sensitive. It's a sensitive state. Nobody should have a say in how you're coming up into that person.
Right.
Everybody already
Absolutely.
had their say with the first version of you.
Right.
But this next version of yourself where you've self-destructed, that is for you.
Right.
To build up and to have pride in. And what you, like I said, it's going to be one of those choices.
Right.
You're going to be like, oh, I'm accountable and this is what I'm doing. This is my self-reflection moment. This is what I can do to make me happy, to make me better.
Right.
Whatever. Or you just going to be like, blame it on somebody else. It's your fault that I'm here.
Yeah.
Like, everybody has that story.
Right.
Somebody
Right.
effed you up, probably
Right.
parents or parental figures,
Right.
in some way.
In some way.
And as a kid, you didn't know how to cope, so you did this other thing. And you kept it just new level. It got stronger. You
Right.
kept with that
Right.
handicap, and you got to realize what your handicap is. And we all got more than one.
We got
So
a
you
few.
just can't be sitting there talking about it's their fault. It's because y'all didn't do this for me when I was. You didn't do this. Okay, at one point, now you grown.
Right.
Like,
Who you
can't
blaming?
just keep giving everybody else your power. That's
Right.
your power. So you just telling me you just walking around mindless and you can't or don't have any influence over your own life. So it's everybody. Come on.
Everybody's fault, but
I
mine.
need you to be more accountable and more willful about yourself, more purposeful
Right.
about yourself, and stop giving that power to everybody else.
Because at some point you got to say to yourself, either I'm gonna get better, or I'm gonna keep blaming people that I'm this way.
Yeah.
And nobody's gonna help you out of there.
Yeah.
That is it's your journey. It's your growth. It's your decision.
But most people don't want that journey because that journey is an ugly process.
Yeah.
And it's
So
scary.
it's not. So
Long.
it's not pretty.
Unfamiliar.
Like say, and you're in unfamiliar territory. So
Right.
you're like, hey.
It's like when you start growing your hair.
It's intimidating.
It's-
Nobody.
it is intimidating. So
Y'all know y'all to cut y'all head by before and be
Nobody
like,
can tell
shoot,
you
I
how
gotta
to
grow
do
this
it.
out, right?
Yeah,
it
so
is unfamiliar.
it's a different
Yeah.
place to be in. So it can be scary. So people like, okay, and like she said, nobody has a say, or nobody should have a say in me reclaiming me.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, that's a process that I have to deal with. So I'm at a place where, okay, so I did all this other stuff because of my hurt and not being, whole, so to speak.
Right.
So now I'm going to rebuild, and me
Right.
is I'm first.
Right.
I'm going to love me. I need to know that I am worth. And so now you're setting boundaries for yourself. You're setting boundaries, for your relationships, all of your relationships in your
Right.
life. So now you're saying, okay, well, I'm not going to accept this.
Right.
So these are some standards. I've had to set standards for myself.
Yeah.
So moving forward, so that it's kind of like having a guide. I mean, it's kind of like building a house, so to speak.
Right.
Okay, so you got to have a foundation first.
Right.
Okay, because otherwise, where's
Gotta
the
have something
house
to stand
gonna-
on.
You got to have something to stand on.
Right.
So I got to set some guides on what I will and won't accept now
Right.
for the new me.
Right.
And maybe you don't have God, but at least you got morals.
Exactly, but
You got
for whatever,
integrity.
yeah.
You got to have something. I get
You got to
that.
have something. You got to have a foundation to start with, to build
You know what
on.
a lot of therapists do? It's funny what you said about the Crayolas and stuff. Do you know a lot of therapists actually take you to the innocent you to start your therapy? They actually take you to the you who actually had aspirations, who actually had, I don't want to say it like this, who actually believed in Santa Claus. They take you back to that person because that's the person that you're going to have to start at when you actually begin to get better. A lot of people don't even realize that starting from the beginning is not just ugly, but it's actually going back to that individual who actually wanted to do good, who actually wanted to be somebody. You wasn't complacent about your state. You wasn't stuck in this place where, all right, this is just my life. It'll never get better. Somebody passed me a drink. You wasn't stuck there. Because you wanted to be the fireman, you wanted to be the police officer, you wanted to be the judge, you wanted to be the lawyer, you wanted to be somebody who was somebody. Until you met that situation took all that from you. And that's crazy because a lot of people go through that, especially when you're from where I'm from. When you're from where I'm from, no, you don't come out like, yeah, I'm gonna thug it out, woo to woo. You come out and you just actually wonder about life. Like, shoot, I wonder what I'm gonna be in this world. I want to be something. And then shoot, now all you see is this drug addict, all you see, and then your people don't make it no better. You know what I'm saying? Like the people around you, they don't make it no better because they start lying to you. You start catching them in their lies. But the worst thing you can do is catch somebody who your parent in their lie. Well, you probably gonna get a whooping and everything because you catch them in their lie. You better not say nothing about it either. Oh no, you lying? Oh wait. Now they about to show you what,
I'm in control.
right.
I have authority over you, so to speak.
And so now the tearing down of who you are becoming
Correct.
has began.
Yeah. So that's where some of those issues. So now,
Yeah.
you become guarded
Right.
when it comes to
Right.
things like
Right.
that. So that's why some people will have issues with authority figures.
Right.
Because if you had an issue with mama and daddy, so why would you expect it to be any different in the world, so to speak?
Yo, you gonna have an issue with everybody.
If it's not okay, if because home should be your safe place, so to speak. It's just like a husband and wife, so to speak. Well, her should be able to come home, and that be a safe place,
Right.
In regards to being able to vent, discuss, whatever you want to call it, and not be judged.
Now, I want to say, because you just said venting, right? So I just want to let y'all know that once you vent on social media, ain't no taking it back.
Oh no, it's there forever and ever, ever, ever.
And ever and ever.
And ever.
Like, ain't no taking it back. So before you vent on social media, you might want to think, do you want everybody in your business forever? Because that's where it's going to be forever.
Forever.
And even when you get in relationships, it's a lot of us that get in relationships, and the first thing we do, what do? We go to their social media page. And we start scrolling through their pictures, going through their
I'm
posts.
not doing all that. I ain't doing all that. I don't find nobody that interesting.
Lord have mercy. She's not a narcissist, y'all. I promise she's not a narcissist.
I don't care about nothing back there in your past.
Yeah, your past is your past.
Just as long as that is not over in my
that's
my
true to an
area,
extent.
I'm good.
But a lot of people will get on your social media and go through your pictures.
Absolutely. People that don't know you will just go through. People are just
yes.
People don't even give out their numbers no more.
curious about you.
Guess what people give out first?
Yeah.
They social media accounts.
Yeah.
What's your Facebook? What's your Instagram?
Or your Snapchat.
Or your
something
Snap?
You can call
They
me
don't give out numbers no more.
Snapchat or-
That's where we starting at. On your social media.
Or I just give out.
Well, you know, I'm in a whole
Get the number.
Right. But I'm just talking about this generation that we in. I'll hear it all the time. Like I be hearing people all the time. Hey, what's your Facebook? Hey, what's your social
And that's
media?
because it's easier to get rid of somebody if they just can call you on social media.
Block them. Block
You'll never hear from me again. When somebody have your phone number, they'll
still
keep
block 'em.
No, because they're gonna call you from another phone number.
Yeah,
The mobile
Block 'em
app.
again.
They're gonna get the free mobile app and be calling you from all type of
I'm telling you.
915
I'm
and they
telling
gonna
you.
get blocked.
and you just gonna keep having
Yeah, them suckers, they give another
But if
numbers.
you don't give them your number,
A lot of
you can
numbers.
just be like block social
Right.
media.
But the thing about giving your social
And I
media
mean-
account, I'm telling you what.
And if they
listen,
crazy enough to make a fake profile and follow your butt around, I mean,
and it happens. It happens.
It does happen though.
It happens. But on social media, the first thing they do is get your social media account. I be dog. Everybody who gets your social media account, the first thing they do is go on there. I want to see what they look at their pictures.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody do it. I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
You gotta do it. Even if you don't go through all of it, you gonna go through them first 15, 20. Be like,
don't be doing
ooh, they were looking a little rough right there. I wonder
I
if they got
read.
kids.
Let me tell you what I do. I read your status. Your first 3 statuses. If I see some
the
misspelled
first
words,
3.
if I hear any, that you use the wrong kind of there.
You know what? I just made a post. Please, I need you to know the difference between your. It means that this is yours. It belongs to you.
Right.
And your. You
Yeah.
are.
Right.
Okay.
Or won't and won't.
Yes.
They be talking about, I want to go to the store with the ONT.
I'm just like, do I want you in my inbox saying anything to me?
Absolutely not.
I don't.
But
Next.
that's the new age. People will get your people.
Like I don't get on there and misspell stuff on accident sometimes.
But you
We
know
all
what?
do.
I
We
be extra
do.
fair in there and go.
We all
look at
do.
I spelled that wrong. Let me
But
go
then
back.
you have
Everybody
those
think I'm
people
crazy.
who you know what they meant, and you read they whole,
And they do it all the time. You be like,
Yeah.
do you never proofread your stuff?
Some ain't right.
Yeah.
You
Some
like,
ain't
lady,
right.
it's a business. You
Right.
doing a business post and
Yeah.
you don't know how to use
Yeah.
these words in proper context?
I'm gonna have to fill out your application. I'm gonna have to do your applications.
Yeah.
Yeah, but and so that's what people do. They go on your social media accounts and check, what it is. So when you're venting, guess what? When you get in that next relationship and they ask you, hey, what's your
Pulling
social
your
media
background. I'm not
account?
wasting no time. I'm understanding.
Ooh,
Let me
wee.
understand what I do for a
People
living.
do pull backgrounds. Hey, we in the age where you can pull backgrounds. This ain't the chat line back in the
License
day
plate
when we used to be in the rooms. Y'all remember the chat line? We used to be in the rooms on the phone. You probably don't remember that. On the
Yeah.
house phone, we used to be in the rooms. We were going to room, what. We'd
Yeah.
be in there with a whole bunch of people, and then you pull that one person to. Y'all remember what I'm talking about? The chat room. Yeah. Look at Miss Ross. She looking at me.
I remember.
She looking at me like, boy, what are you talking about?
Like,
Yeah.
what are you talking about?
I remember hearing other kids do that and trying to get on two-way so I can hear
Bruh.
what's being said.
We used to be in the bathroom or the closet until about 3 in the morning, holding up the phone line. People calling, talking about, hold on real quick. Oh, they not here. Yeah, we back. We back. We was terrible with it. Y'all remember them house phones? If y'all come up in my area, y'all remember
I
that.
have a house phone.
Nowadays, the kids, they jump on the Facebook Live and stuff, and they do the Facebook talk and have the group chats and stuff. It's different right now, 'cause I got 3 little boys. I know everything they do. They think I don't know what they do. But people check your social media. So just imagine you venting about somebody, and you get somebody your social media account. They go on your account and see you done vented, or you done vented again. oh yeah, this person's crazy, boy. Ooh, they crazy. I'm making.
And they not gonna delete.
If you crazy,
they not gonna block
right?
you. Especially if it's a man. First of all, he got to be in your inbox.
Right.
At least be
Trying to
smart
see
enough.
why he out turned on. See if you gonna make you crazy.
I'm gonna give you some free game. At least be smart enough to delete the vent off your page. You might not be able to delete it off other people's page, but delete the vent off your page. Don't put everybody
waiting to see
You know what I mean?
his turn.
Bruh, but
Just waiting.
But it's not good to vent online. First of all, these people online, they
And
may
also,
love you.
I wanted to say this. Truthfully, when you are venting online, if we're gonna talk about like dating, since we're in there
Mm-hmm.
already, since you kind of brought it up, you also attract predators that way. And by predators, I don't mean just like what we can sexual predators, but I
Right.
mean sometimes people are attracted to you by your weakness or what you're dealing with, what you're going through.
Boo, it's gonna
let me
be
be
all
that
right.
shoulder that you need to lean
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
Let me see if I can get him. Somehow, some people, they just.
And you so crazy, you be like, oh, you be my shoulder boo? Come on now.
Yeah,
Dude ain't
you
saying nothing to you all. You been having your social media account all this time. He ain't saying nothing to you
don't
till
even know
y'all
you for
fall
a whole
out.
week. I'll always be there for you.
Right. Right.
sound
shoulda-
crazy.
I told you should. You got your overnight bag. You should have been and came over
What's
here.
that movie?
Your spend a night bag.
What's
Oh,
that
let me
guy
say
that
it
everyone
right.
keeps posting on Facebook that from that series on Netflix? Is his name John? That's you.
Leon.
You a guy from you.
Shoot. Everybody done watch you. You was crazy. That dude was something else. But the girl was crazier. The girl was
Season
crazy.
2 is. I need to watch.
Yeah,
that.
you need to watch season 2. It's cool. He met his match. He met his match, Doc. But say on some real stuff, when you're venting on Facebook, you got to realize that these people do not have the tools you need for actual healing. They may say a good word to you. They may say, baby, it's going to be all right. Put some praying hands up there, which really is a high five, just to let y'all know that's not praying hands. That was really a high five. But they put the little hands up there praying for you. Everything going to be fine. Oh, hit my line. And they just want to
Have to hit my lines of
amp you up.
gossiping, yeah.
Right, amp you up. And then the next minute you hear your business over there and what's the name,
Oh,
mouth.
girl.
It's not the place for it. If you're going to vent on social media, you might as well put on I'm stupid as, and I don't even want to cuss, but you might as well put some stuff on there that's throw some people off. Like if you having a good time, a good life, you get a promotion or something like that, just say I'm working on me. Don't put people out in your business because a lot of people want to see you fail and you don't even know it. Like quit venting on Facebook because when they see you venting, the same people liking on your stuff is the same people over there talking about, yeah, I knew they were gonna go through that. Yeah, I told her about messing with that nigga.
Or a lot of things is just things that
Nah, for
a lot
real.
of things that
It's
you
real.
post online,
absolutely.
other people are dealing with too.
Right.
It's just that you've made a stage and they want to judge you on it because people love to deflect.
Right,
A lot of times somebody got something to say about something that you posted. It's something that they relate to.
right.
And you just have it up there and now they get to pick at you about it and they probably going through the exact same thing or have already gone through the same thing.
Yeah.
It's that finally they get to say, oh, it's not me.
Right. They
So-
get to point the finger at
Just,
somebody else.
if you post,
I'm not the
post
only
at your
one.
risk.
Right.
Yeah.
Post
But
at your
just
own
know-
risk, good or bad. Post at your own risk. But you do have an audience.
And ain't no takebacks.
Yeah.
Y'all remember that game? No
You have an
takebacks.
audience.
You ain't no takebacks. Well, it's out there. It's out there. And they gonna still be the one that cheated on you last week, even though you hugged up with them this week. That's the same person. Same person. Don't put your business out there. Most relationships that fail these days fail because they on social media.
I don't agree with that.
No,
Why?
I think that
I feel like social media brings to light a lot of things. They keep getting caught on social media. You know what? Let me tell you something, cheaters.
But I think most people that on social media, if you pay attention to people on social,
Social
media,
media
just look at
relationships don't
everybody's
last.
that they me and boo here, me and boo there. People that do that
They don't mean that
eventually
in real life.
have problems
Yeah.
in the relationship because they're trying to make it seem like it's something
That is not.
that is
Well,
not.
some people
Right.
and other people become jealous of that, and they want it, so they'll come between. They'll come between because you made it look so good.
Say some people
Sometimes
don't
you can make
post.
your bad look real good too.
Right.
People just gonna come either way it go. You post something good, here comes something. You post something bad, here
Here
comes
comes.
something. Just know that something's coming.
Yeah. Either way.
But I was gonna say something.
Oh,
you said,
Lord, I
you
did it
said
again.
relationships fail because of social media and what
A
I
lot
was
of
just
relationships.
saying
I didn't
that-
say all relationships.
I was just saying that I feel like social media is it's hard to hide things these days. And I think a lot of people get caught up on social media.
That's what exactly where I was going with it.
Yeah,
because everybody got dirt. Everybody got dirt.
Yeah.
Everybody got some skeletons in their closet. And when you posting, don't post somebody that your people close to on social media talking about this my new boo. Man, you go get that call talking about, oh, you messing with what's the name now? Oh no, they used to what's the name, woo. And then they'll get to shooting all kind of shots at you, and then here you are in some confusion, and now you wondering how in the world you got her, all because you made a post about you being happy with the wrong person or the right person. Might be the
Or
right person.
You might post I remember when Facebook when they first started having the groups,
Mm-hmm.
the Facebook groups. You have those different groups. There was a Facebook room, and it was called "Is This Your Man?"
I remember that one. I remember that one.
And
So I
people
remember that
would,
one.
like, post their new boo in there, and somebody will say if they know him or not, and they post pictures of how they know. They
Right.
start posting,
And that
gets
stuff took off.
mad.
Right.
And I was in there looking.
She said I was in there looking. I'm telling
I
you.
was looking. I was
Man,
like,
look.
"Ooh-wee."
Facebook, social media ain't
Yeah.
nothing but a stage, and I'm telling
Before
you,
it was telephones.
well, yeah.
before
But I
it
mean,
was
Facebook is like,
I'm just saying that it's grown from.
yeah,
It just keeps growing. At first,
Yeah.
it was letters in the class. You write your little letter.
right,
Then somebody get your letter. Oh, you talking to my man.
yeah,
Then it's telephones, three-way, been on the phone, and you got this little boyfriend that you had in 2 weeks, and somebody else like him, okay. Then now
Mm-hmm. How
you're
you
on
get my
social
number?
media.
right,
Now you're on social media, just graduated each time.
right.
And then a lot of people keep failing with the same thing.
It's a messy world, and
keep failing.
it's all being televised.
yeah.
Everybody, your stuff is being televised. If you got some dirt in your closet, cool. Keep it in the closet though. Don't put it on social media. You think somebody going to understand?
Take it to therapy.
Like somebody go be like, oh, you going through some stuff. No, people don't cry like that. I mean, they do, but they don't. Everybody got
Yeah.
their stuff they going through. You
Yeah,
know,
people
get help.
Right now, a lot of things. I feel that social media became really big when it was, in a sense, of venting online.
Mm-hmm.
When a lot of those reality shows,
Right.
because that's what like they use Twitter. It was all started with Twitter.
And Trump.
You know, no Twitter. It was
Right.
reality shows was well before Trump became president because he was an actor. But that's how they vented, go in their
Yeah.
little confession rooms and say some crazy.
Right.
And then it just became a rolling effect. Everybody
Right.
wants to say something online. It all
Right.
started with Twitter. People committing suicide on Twitter and writing little suicide letters that then
People
now
getting killed
Facebook,
on
you know,
Twitter.
things, people getting killed on Facebook Live, you know, just
Yeah.
like film everything. Just-
Right.
So a lot of things that we think weren't problems, they were always problems. They're just, like you said, they're all recorded now.
Right.
Televised, publicized. Everybody can, you know, post something now.
Mm-hmm. And
Everybody.
even people that can't spell.
Yeah.
They be
Everybody
posting
can post
hard.
things.
Real hard.
And,
Yeah.
and hey, but to each his own. All we saying is there's a time where people need to be. Therapy is not a bad thing. Therapy is not your enemy. As a matter of fact, it can be your best friend. And a lot of people who actually become better selves, better individuals and stuff like that, they actually have a therapist, a lifelong therapist that they go and see once a month, once a year, once a week, whenever. But get an outside perspective. Quit going to the same people who have the same problems, trying to
just
get
the same
help.
mindset,
Right,
yeah.
trying to get help with an issue that they got, or trying to get help with an issue that they don't understand. It doesn't work. Therapy is therapeutic. I've had therapy. We've all had therapy up here, and I mean, I'm here to tell you, it really, really helped me in ways that I didn't even realize it was helping me. Even though I was telling a lot. I was telling lies to the therapist. I ain't gonna even lie. You know what I'm saying? I was at
Your
first.
first time going there, you probably
first,
told
I
them
was
like
lying.
you're trying to keep your best foot forward.
I just really wanted to see what the therapist was gonna say.
And then,
Like, is you gonna be real with me or whatever?
and they
you know
can
what my
tell, they can
therapist
pretty
said,
much call you out on that too.
and they
know.
did. They did. They did. Eventually, after I got through so many stories, that therapist looked at me. She was like, "I don't think you're telling me the whole truth." I was like, "I'm not. I don't know you like that." You know what I'm saying? And she eventually said that because it's not for you to know me. I'm just an outside perspective. You don't even need to know my name. But what you need to know is who you are. So as I talk, as you talk to me, I'm just going to guide you. That's how the therapist really does. They don't even talk really.
Yeah.
They just sit there and write down stuff and be like,
Like
"Oh,
hurting you.
right.
Yeah, just
I
hurting.
hear you." And sometimes you just need somebody to hear you. And I mean, hear you with a, you know, without no strings attached, without no emotional attached, without no relationship with you. Just hear you and hear your situation. Because they say you can't see the forest for the trees.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that means you deep in there. And they're the ones standing on the street calling you, "Hey, over here." You know, and so good stuff, man. I'm glad y'all tuned in, man. We had a lot of people that tuned in and commented, man. I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to look back at the comments. Looking in the mirror is the hardest thing that a person that as people can do, but it's worth a peek because the joy and feeling whole, there is nothing like it. Good stuff for Fatima. Leslie Pope says same can be said with a thought. As long as the thought doesn't materialize, it is just a thought. A thought. No one can use your thoughts against you so long as it remains in your mind. Yeah, exactly. Tripping about the chat line. But so, do we have any closing remarks, man? I know we got some closing remarks. What we got?
I would just say to be sure to self-reflect. And once you self-reflect, then you can determine if and when you need to seek professional help, to seek some therapy so that you can heal past the things, so that you can, be whole, so to speak, and not be broken, and be able to, have healthy relationships and just be healthy and whole yourself. It's such a good feeling, even though the process itself is ugly, but it's so worth it.
Right.
Yeah.
So just, self-reflect and see what you need to do and not be worrying about somebody else, but what you need to do to be the best you that you
Right.
can be.
That's good. Hey, True.
Well, just listening to it, bro. You can go.
Okay.
I just wanted to say, I
Okay.
just love you. Yeah, therapy is a great tool. It is something that I utilize still, and I think we should all use it so that you can get the proper coping skills apart from what you've been accustomed to.
Right.
And then venting is a great thing. You just need to know when and how and whom you can utilize that tool with.
Right.
That's all I have to say about that.
And so, man, we're about to close it up, man. We sure appreciate y'all tapping in, man, tuning in, man. Hopefully something was said that will encourage you to get therapy. I understand that therapy can seem like something to be ashamed of, and it can be embarrassing. I don't know why, but it's just something that's, very, very eminent in our community, that therapy is just some type of, thing that people go to that are crazy or whatever. But I think the craziest thing a person can do is to be crazy and not get therapy. That's crazy. Like you steady going trying to figure out why your thoughts aren't lining up, why your life isn't lining up, why you can't get to the next level, and you're not even realizing every situation that you're going through is based off of who you're allowing stuff to happen that shouldn't be happening, and you can't figure out why. You're doing stuff you shouldn't be doing, and you can't figure out why. You got coping mechanisms that are costing you more money than it's making you, and you can't figure out why. Maybe you need a little therapy. Maybe you just need to find who you are. And I'm telling you, they're going to help you in ways that you could never imagine. But you got to get it. It's a great tool, and it's a great thing. Be blessed, man. It's your boy, Shelvin.
Lady K.
True on that too.
Lady Rise.
Say, man, we appreciate y'all coming over here chatting with us. Say, next week, come back, we go chat it up. Say, we got a hot topic next week. A lot of y'all going to be in agreement and disagreement. I want to see what y'all going to say when we talk about what we talk about next week. Because y'all was over here a little quiet on this therapy stuff, because some of y'all do need therapy. That's why y'all quiet. I ain't pointing no fingers or no elbows, but you probably need to go check it out. Just check it out. Let's walk in the door one time. But the next... Say, we gonna talk about it. Say, I see y'all next week, man. We out of here. Peace.